It's Plant-Based with Nicole podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Richey. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited today to interview Vegan Tastes Good, who is a vegan and health wellness coach. We're going to talk about juicing. We're going to talk about her retreats and all this goodness. So you guys make sure you share this live so we can reach others. Before I read her bio, give me a second. Okay. Hello there. Make sure you share this live, y'all. So, Vegan Tastes Good. I'm excited to bring her on. Spiritual vegan health coach Felicia Cox, who made the transition in 2012 and tried it all from raw vegan to vegetarian, plant-based, and vegan throughout her spiritual journey, giving you the rundown on everything plant-based vegan and how spirituality begins with food and meditation. Hey, girl. Felicia believes that a plant-based is more than a diet. It is a lifestyle and spiritual practice that contributes to overall physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional wellness and health. Felicia offers education through services and products with personalized guidance that will get you on track to be confident in what you eat and how you feel about it while enjoying it every step of the way in your own personal spiritual journey. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest. Hey, girl. I accepted it. Come on in.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Excellent.
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I told my husband, does anybody ever, does people tell you look like chili? All the time.
All the time.
Every
I
time I see you,
yeah,
I'm like, I just see chili from TLC in my head.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. So that's fine with me.
Yeah.
She's a beautiful woman, beautiful. So I'll take it.
So how's everything going today?
Everything is going good. It's been a relaxing Saturday. I'm like, oh, it's today's Saturday. It's been a relaxing Saturday. I'm actually in DC right now, taking care of some business. Yeah, so I'll be going back to Atlanta tomorrow, but it's just
you're all over the place. So I just want to ask this question I always ask. If you were stranded on an island, what would you eat to survive?
If I'm on an island, hopefully it's a tropical island, I could survive off of mangoes.
Mangoes. You could find mangoes?
Yes. If I'm on a tropical island and I'm stranded, I'm pretty sure I could find some mangoes.
Okay, so you've been vegan since 2012, which is that's like 10 years. Why did you decide to go vegan?
So for me, it was definitely a spiritual choice. I went through a period of purging and self-realization, I guess. And for me, I just went cold turkey. So in 2002, I have a cousin who's no longer with us anymore. His name is Henry, and he's a cousin by marriage. So my grandmother's cousin married him. They live in California. He's a professor, has written some amazing books. He came to visit our house 4th of July in 2002. So I was 15 then. And when he came to visit, before he came to visit, I was telling my mom, I want to be vegetarian. I didn't even know that being vegan was a thing back then. So I was like, I want to be vegetarian. I don't feel right eating meat. And after that, he came to visit. My mom was like, cousin Henry's vegan. Or she said vegetarian because we didn't know what vegan was back then. She was like, cousin Henry is vegetarian. And after she told him that, he had just written a book called The Nature and Purpose of Disease. And he gave me this book and he signed it and said, you're making, an important decision in your life. And said, congrats on making the choice to be vegan. And whenever he, gave me this book, I was like, oh, this is cool. Like someone that's actually vegan. I didn't read the book back then when I was 15. And I actually went a long period of
Yeah.
time without eating meat. And then, I played sports, I ran track, I was doing weight training and like was involved in clubs. And of course, any teenager just reverted back to my
Yeah.
old habits, no discipline at all. So then after college, I remember, or during college, I was, going back and forth, deciding like, okay, let me just start to eliminate certain things. So first it was like, first of all, I've never liked seafood. Everyone, they're like, how could
Yeah.
you give up seafood? I never liked
Right.
seafood. So that was an easy one. Gave up red meat. I didn't eat pork. And then once I graduated, I was just eating chicken and turkey. And at that point, I couldn't eat anything that had like the bones in it or the skin because it would just, gross me out. And then one day I was just like going through this period where I was just feeling overwhelmed with emotion all the time. And I thought it was related to my job at the
And
time.
I
So quit
immediately
the
just
job
felt,
and I immediately just felt, you
Yeah.
know, amazing. I felt like, I just had this release, like I'm purging this thing that doesn't make me happy. So after that, I was just like, okay, that was easier than I thought it was. And pretty soon, I just kind of started feeling that way towards a lot of things in life. And as I was, having these emotions and feelings, I just surrendered to it and just released whatever it was. So one morning I woke up and I, saw the book. At this point, I had only, glanced through it, hadn't really read it. And I saw the message that he wrote to me. So this is exactly 10 years later in 2012. And I looked at it, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to, like, I don't want to
Yeah.
eat meat anymore. I'm not going to do it. So I went cold turkey. I got all of the meat and stuff that was in my refrigerator. I threw it out. I didn't know what it meant to be vegan. I didn't, I just thought it meant like, okay, you can't eat any meat. You can't eat seafood. You can't have dairy. You can't even cook your food. So my standards of being vegetarian was like, oh, I'm just
Yeah.
eating plants, fruits, vegetables. That's it. So I didn't know what I was doing back then. This was 2012 and, being vegan, it wasn't trendy. It wasn't a thing. And I was actually raw vegan for the first few months. And then after that, I lost
Oh,
like
wow.
a ton of weight. I'm 4'11". I'm already, petite and like it was showing, but I felt great. I had so much energy. I just felt liberated from just all of the weight that I was carrying
Yeah.
around, not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. So I made a couple more changes in my diet and I decided, okay, well, I'm clearly too small, so maybe I should, do a little bit more research. I was vegetarian for a little bit. And then once I got pregnant with my youngest daughter, I decided that, I'm going to be carrying this human in my body. Like, I'm going to be growing this human being and bringing them onto this planet. Like, let me go back and do a little bit more research and, figure this thing out. And from then, I just made that decision that, I'm going to be vegan. I'm going to raise my child as being vegan. And I have two daughters, by the way. So my oldest, she's like 80% because she's already stuck in her ways. I made that transition when she was 5. Um, but
Wow.
that's kind of how it started. Started off with just spirit telling me to purge and surrender to all of these things that I felt I needed to release. And by allowing myself to surrender, it helped me on this spiritual journey. That's why I say spirituality begins with food, because that is how my spiritual journey began. As soon as I, stopped eating meat, I was able to get deeper into my meditations. I was able to get clarity. I was able to be accountable for my emotions and my feelings, because if you can have control over the flesh, then you can
Yeah.
have control over many aspects in your life, whether it's emotional, mental,
That's
spiritual, or
awesome.
whatever.
What an amazing story. And you have 2 children? Wow.
I do.
That's a really good story. Thank you for sharing that. So talk a little bit more about how you say spirituality begins with food and meditation. Like, what does that mean to you exactly? Get into that a little bit more.
So with spirituality, a lot of times we feel weight. So that weight can come in many different forms. That weight could just be your heart being heavy from carrying things, situations, and, trauma, hurt, pain, sadness, just carrying those things. And, weight can also be physical, meaning the things that you're eating, you don't have to look like you're overweight, but if you're eating bad and you're not eating things that are good for you, then all of those can manifest into your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual self. So when I say spirituality begins with food, it takes a lot of discipline just with all of the available options around us. And then just the ease of access to anything, at our fingertips. We can go to an app and get whatever we want or whatever it is that we're thinking of. Whenever you put more attention and effort into the food that you're eating, and understanding where it's sourced, and then understanding how to even grow your food, that's you becoming one with nature. A lot of the things that we eat are not natural. So that's why I say that spirituality becomes with food, or spirituality begins with food, because once you have that discipline and you have the knowledge and you have that devotion to doing better in the physical aspect, then it also strengthens your spirituality and your mind and your emotions to work on other
Yeah.
aspects of your
And I
life.
also, someone asked me that before, like, how does it affect you spiritually? And I always say that, like, for me, like when I'm eating the foods that my body needs and is healthy for me, it actually makes me feel closer to
Mm-hmm.
God, and like I feel clear, and I'm able to, like, I don't know, I
Yeah.
just feel closer to God. I'm already close to God, but it's like a closeness, and versus when I'm just eating like processed vegan junk and all that, I feel all cluttered and just, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But when I'm eating the foods my body needs,
Yeah.
I'm clear. My mind is clear. It's not clogged. And so I'm able to, like, just feel more connected to God. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
um, so
Absolutely.
how is your diet? Because I see you juice a lot. Do you, like, what's a typical day of your eating? Because I know you eat regular food too, because I see some of your delicious meals on your page, but you do like a lot of juicing videos. So,
Mhm.
like, what does a day look like for you?
So I juice almost every day, or even if I'm not juicing, I'm
Hmm.
drinking juice almost every day. I
Oh,
eat mostly
okay.
raw, and a lot of times if I'm eating cooked food, it's because, I have kids and they don't want to eat raw food every day. But for me, I eat mostly raw because whether I look like I'm 23, I'm not 23. And we know that as we get older, we also, notice these
Hmm.
different sensitivities that we acquired. So I started paying attention right before COVID about, just different things that my body was sensitive to. I think it was probably the
Hmm.
summer of 2018. I noticed that I was like, just uncomfortable. I'm like, I'm vegan, like I shouldn't be feeling like this. But there's so many things
Yeah.
that we need to pay attention to. So I listened to Spirit and I was just like, okay, let's figure out what it is. So there's a lady that's out in Atlanta, your vitamin lady shop. So they actually, you go in there, if you know your blood type, you tell them. If you don't know your blood type, then they'll actually do a little test and let you
Hmm.
know what your blood type is. And they will tell you your diet and possible sensitivities that you can have
Hmm.
based off of your blood type. So I did this, and sure enough, on that list were several things that I had
Like
been
what?
eating like in abundance. And then there were, so chickpeas, one thing. Like I used to eat so many chickpeas, and I
Oh,
have a
wow.
sensitivity to chickpeas. And then other things that were on there at the time, like I've never been a big drinker, but every now and then socially I would drink, and every time I would drink,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't drink a lot, maybe just one. But every time I would drink, it wouldn't matter what amount it was. I would just feel so sick. So alcohol was on there. The only alcohol that was on there that it said that I could possibly drink was like
The
tequila
hard
or
stuff.
red
Nah,
wine. And I'm like,
tequila.
that's a sign. Exactly. I'm like, that's a sign that I
Right.
probably just shouldn't be drinking it. But after reviewing this list, I did an elimination diet and said, okay, the things that are on this list of acidic things or things that don't agree with my body. All of the meats, all of the dairies, all of the seafoods were on
Yeah,
that list. And I was like, I'm already vegan. So, like, this is just in further alignment that I'm really not supposed to be
exactly.
eating these things, not as a, collective, but just as
Mm-hmm.
an
Mm-hmm.
individual. And after doing the elimination diet and then cutting out those things that were on the list of things that my body might react to, um, I felt amazing. I felt great. Gluten was actually
Yeah,
on that list.
gluten is.
So
Oof.
it's like bread, gluten. When I tell you that used to love some bread, but after I stopped eating it for a period of time, if I tried to eat it again, my body was just like, nope. So after that, I did a food sensitivity test. And sure enough,
Mm.
everything that was on that blood type test was on my food sensitivity test. Gluten popped up, certain meats popped up, dairy popped up, chickpeas popped up, eggplant,
Eggplant?
like all of the cashews,
Oh, not the
eggplant and cashews.
cashews.
So, and
Not
I'm
the
not even a big
cashews, girl.
eggplant person. Right. Right, because it's like you're vegan, like those cashew cheeses, but every time I would make my vegan mac and cheese, I would make a cashew cheese and it was messing me up. Like I might as well eat, some real cheese,
Yeah.
just the way that I was
What's
feeling.
the symptoms
So,
for cashews? Like, what would you feel?
the best way that I can describe it, because I'm very dramatic, is it feels like first it starts off
Oh,
as cramping and then it turns into like stabbing pains, like just
oh
in my
my
whole
gosh.
digestive system. And then it would just travel throughout my
Oh
whole body.
man.
So after that, I was like, let me give up the cashews. Let me just,
Mm-hmm.
start
Hmm.
eliminating things. And then right before COVID, that's when all the mock meats came out, the Beyond, the Impossibles. And when I went vegan, like we didn't have any of this. We had tofu. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not eating tofu. So all of this stuff came out. So I was like, I'll try it. And at first I was just like, I'll eat it, every now and then because this stuff is new. Who knows what's in it? And 2020, 2021, I was just like obsessed because I'm like, oh my God, this tastes like, I know it's not the real thing, but it tastes really close. And then I noticed that started
Oh,
bothering me. So I'm like,
that
this
you
just
just should
goes to
be
show
eating whole
that,
foods.
well, it, no, that and one of the things that was on my food sensitivity and my blood type test that I did for my diet was processed food and condiments. You wouldn't think or take, to take those things into consideration, but when you're thinking about anything that
Mm.
has a long shelf life, you
Yeah.
don't know what exactly they're
Yes.
using to preserve these foods. When it comes to FDA, like they're all about their money. So, what I tell everyone that I'm coaching, whenever you go to the store, look at the ingredients on everything that you buy. But on top of that, shop on the outside aisles. You should really only be in the produce section and shopping at those bulk bins if you need grains or nuts. Everything on those
Yeah.
inside aisles is processed
And
junk,
I
even if
and
it's
I
labeled
also say
healthy.
that if you're reading the labels for a lot of your foods, that's not good. You should not be most of the foods in your
Yeah,
house. I mean, if you're trying to be healthy, you should be
should
eating
not
whole
have
foods.
labels.
And whole foods that are born the way they are, they don't have ingredients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's one ingredient, and that's
And people that are
exactly
watching,
what
I'm
it
not
is.
saying that you can't have
Exactly.
processed foods ever. I'm just saying a majority of your food should be
In
non-processed. Whole
moderation.
foods, things are born the way they are. Potatoes, fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans and rice, things
Yeah,
like that. And then maybe like 20% could be the junk food. Just make that be a minimal part
exactly.
of your diet. So you
Treat
shouldn't be
yourself.
reading too many ingredients,
Yeah.
on your in your house, and because it should be majority whole foods. And I want to touch on the gluten too, because I
Yeah.
know you have a sensitivity to that. Gluten, if people don't know that gluten is a big causes a lot of ailments in people. It is a problem, and I'm not 100.
It
Yeah, I'm not
destroys the gut.
100% gluten. I'm about 95% gluten free. Like overall, I don't buy gluten, but every now and then I might go out and get a vegan burger, or I might get like some vegan pizza, but that's like that's like 5% of my life. But
Yeah.
when I took it
Yeah.
out, it also had helped with headaches. Um, it's it's a big cause of issues. So if y'all have issues in your body, try eliminating gluten and see if that can help, because sometimes that could be a culprit. But
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, I highly recommend everybody
yeah.
do a food sensitivity test and do it before you start eliminating foods, because the only way that it'll catch what's, irritating your body, what you have allergies
Hmm.
to, is when you're actively eating it. But that's why now I eat mostly raw, and then juicing, because I feel the best that I've
Yeah.
ever felt in my entire life. And
Oh
I
wow,
also grow my
that's
own
good.
food. So if you go and look at my Instagram, you'll see, just going all the way back, I, grow my watermelons. I grow all of my leafy greens indoors through my
That's dope.
hydroponic gardens that I have, my cucumbers. So making sure that you're conscious, about your food, and that you're connecting with your food spiritually, because all of these things that you're ingesting, you can't trust everything
Nope.
that they put in the stores. Even your produce, you have to make sure that you're looking at those food numbers,
I heard
everything.
that. That's good information. If you guys have
Yeah.
questions, put it in the question box because they get lost in the chat, FYI. Calvin is mine asked earlier, are you guys familiar with this with Sabi and his diet? I am familiar with it. Um, I think
Yeah.
his thing is about eating a lot of alkaline foods, if I'm not mistaken. And but there's some things I
Yes.
don't agree. Like he might say like don't eat broccoli or certain things like that. I'm like, well, broccoli's better than eating some Oreo cookies. you know. So I mean,
Yeah. But it's the same thing.
yeah, and it's
Everything
like
in moderation.
you take
Yeah.
different things you learn from different ways of eating, and you do what's best for you. You know, I'm not too extreme
Hmm.
with anything. It's just I kind of like have a balance, and I also have a high raw lifestyle as well. Right now, I'm doing actually fully raw for 30
Yeah.
days. I'm on day 21.
I
I'm on day 21.
saw.
But
I
normally I
saw.
do a high raw
Yes.
too because I find that it's a good balance. You get the good benefits of eating all the raw foods, but if you want the cooked foods, you can have it without having that label over you and feeling all like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like a good balance for me.
Yeah.
Let me just scroll and see if
Absolutely.
anybody else.
Someone said, where do you go to get the blood type test? The one that I got is Everlywell. If you go on Amazon, you can order it directly from
Mhm.
Amazon. They'll ship it to you, and you just like prick your finger, put some blood drops on like two sheets of paper in these circles. You send it in, and then they'll send you your results through the
Oh,
app.
I might have to do
So
that too.
it's
I
really
might have to
easy,
do
painless.
that too.
Yeah, and got a and I got an allergy test at the doctor's also, because I'm just like super sensitive to everything, and well, everything that's synthetic at this
You know,
point. So, but I feel good. Like
yeah,
it's good
and
to
I'm
just know, because a lot of times we're I was just gonna say, a lot of times we get used
mhm.
to feeling uncomfortable. We just take it for what it is. We're like, oh, I'm gassy or I'm bloated, and we just
Yeah.
take it for what it is. We just
Yeah.
accept it, and we normalize it. But it doesn't have to be that
I
way. You
need to
really
go
have to
get one
listen
of
to your
those
body.
tests too because my stomach is super sensitive and I get nauseous really easily. And especially sometimes if I go out to
Yeah,
eat and I'm just like, man, sometimes it just makes me not want to go out anymore, which I don't do a lot, but
yeah.
I'm just super sensitive and I'm just sick of it. Let's see. How long have you been a health and wellness coach and how did you get into that? Is that full time or do you have a regular 9 to 5 job as well?
So, I have been doing vegan health coaching since 2019. So I guess I'll give you guys a history of my my many endeavors. I actually started off in 2014. I
Mhm.
had a juice and meal prep business. So a lot of people who are wanting to transition, or who just wanted to, have discipline, but they didn't have the discipline to make stuff on their own, then I was selling juices and meal prep. And I did that for about 2 years. And the demand was extremely overwhelming for one
Okay.
person. So I said, okay, I'm going to step away from it. I'll circle back around and come back to it. I'm
Yeah.
going to work smarter, not harder next time. And I just kind of, you know, put a hold on it, and then I started coaching. So whenever I stopped doing that in 2017 and 2018, I started doing the coaching. So I would help people with grocery lists. I would help them do pantry cleanouts. I would kind of guide them through what their current diet is and, their sensitivities and if they knew them, and also telling them how they can become aware of their sensitivities and kind of fixing those things before
Mm-hmm.
making any drastic changes. And then all this time I did have a corporate job, and I was able to balance both of them. And I actually just gave my resignation to my corporate job. So I am doing my
Oh, wow.
coaching full time, and I'm doing my retreats full time now. Just because I know that on this journey that my the path that I'm on is much bigger than what I'm doing in corporate. What I was doing in corporate is very much so aligned still with helping people, and being able
Mm-hmm.
to express empathy, but it's in a different way. It's still corporate at the end of the day. So in this new moon that we're having, we're going through a period of purging and releasing and rebirth. So it's funny that you brought that up because I just gave my resignation to my job, and I will be coaching and doing my retreats full time.
Kudos to you. Congratulations, girl. Go after your dream. Go after your passion.
Thank you.
Inspire. I love that. That's inspiring.
Yes.
Yes, that's inspiring to me. So like about how many clients do you have right now? Is it like does it change up? Is it consistent? Like how does that look?
Um, it changes up. I take as many
Mm-hmm.
clients as I can. So I do vegan health coaching, but I also
Okay.
do spiritual coaching as well. So I feel like a lot of my clients that I get, it starts off as vegan health coaching, but then it turns into spiritual coaching because I do Reiki and
Mm,
also sound healing. And then also with the retreats that I have, I also have a lot of clients who are coming just for a mixture of both reasons because they understand the whole,
yeah,
spirituality begins with food. So right now, I can't even say that I can count recurring clients. I probably have about 8 that are in the continuous rotation, but outside of that, my retreats, I host anywhere from, small groups, 13 to 20 people at a time. And then I do cooking classes and I do workshops as
that's
well.
amazing.
So a nice little mixture of different
That's
things that are
wonderful.
for
How
everybody.
long have you had your page? Because you have like over 100,000 followers. Like, that's my dream.
I've had my page since 2015. So whenever I had my daughter, and I'm on this journey of revamping and changing everything that I was doing with my vegan
Yeah,
lifestyle, I just wanted to document it. And I labeled it Vegan Tastes Good because I have a lot of family members who are like, I can't eat that vegan stuff. I'm like, no,
yeah,
vegan food tastes good. Like, you just
yeah. You got
don't
to
know what you're
experiment.
doing. So that's how I got the name Vegan Tastes Good, because I kept telling people like, no, vegan food tastes good. And they're just like, no, it's not. So I was like, let me create this page. And whenever I would cook, I would just,
Hmm.
post pictures. We didn't have reels back then. But I was like, let me just post a picture of the food. And then from me posting pictures of the food, that's when people were like, okay, well, can you juice and can you meal prep for me? And I'm like, sure, why not? Like, are you going to pay me? Because this stuff,
Yeah,
takes time and it costs money. And the people that were asking, it was like, friends and family. At first, it was like, just buy the food. Like, I'll cook it for you. Don't worry about paying me, because I really just wanted them to do better. I wanted them
yeah.
to make better choices and decisions. But as the demand grew and then people that I didn't know started asking, I was like, oh, I could, make this I could make a living off of this. And then it transitioned after I let go of my juice and meal prep business, or not let go, but put it on hold. It was called Jupiter Juice Co. So those of you that have been rocking with me for a while, some of you may have been my clients back in the day. But when I said I wanted to work smarter, not harder, I manifested that. I put it out into the universe. I didn't know how it was gonna, circle back around. I didn't know if I was gonna open up a juice bar, or if I was gonna, start
Yeah.
hiring people under me and having, some sort of cloud kitchen. I didn't know how it would manifest. And I think it was 2021. I made a post and it kind of blew up a little bit. It went viral. So then I was like, okay, I was at 6,000 for the longest. And then I made this post for a brunch that I did that I hosted for my friends. And then that kind of blew up. I had like 14,000
Wow.
followers. And then I was going, my 10th year of being vegan was last year. And on my 10th year, it was a spiritual change. So 2002 was when I made the choice. 2012 was when I followed through with it. 2022 was the year that I felt like all of this is now making sense. Like now I understand why when I was 15, I made that choice. Now I understand why I have, dedicated my life to this, and not just for me, but for other people, and helping them heal their bodies and heal their spirits, and just like, making their hearts lighter. And 2022, I decided to start,
Hmm.
posting, my juicing, because I was like, this is something I do every day. And like, I need to get this content out there. So one day I was just like, I'm just going to post myself juicing because I can't think of any meals to make. I was doing a juice cleanse, a juice and a raw vegan cleanse. So I was like, I'm just going to document it and put it out there. And it went viral again. And then between 2022 and 2023, this year, my following went up to over
What?
100,000 people, following me and asking for my help, and them actually, and I've never been a pushy, the pushy vegans out there. I've never been a pushy vegan. I've never been the type to, make people feel guilty, for the choices that they're making, because at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it is a choice. People come to me all the time for help and they're just like, I can't do it. And I'm not the type of person, I'm not the type of coach to tell you, like, no, just, forcing people to do something that they're not ready for. I'm like, if you can't do it, instead of saying that you can't do it, say that you won't. And if you
Yeah.
won't, then that's still fine. Start off with what you are comfortable with, even if that's you just eating vegan
Hmm.
once a month. I mean, not once a month, once a week. And then, increasing that. But just know that it's all a choice. If you really care about your health, you really care about your well being and your wellness, and wanting to just go deeper into your spiritual journey, whenever you're ready, whenever spirit tells you, just make sure that you make a conscious
Yeah.
effort to surrender to that.
Mhm.
Don't fight it, just do it. And there are people who have said they couldn't do it, and then they come back months later, and it's like they do it, and it's easy to them because they made a choice, instead of somebody making them feel guilty that they had to do things a certain way. Oh, your sound went out. I'm not
Oh,
sure what
sorry.
happened.
I pushed mute on accident. I said that's some good information. And I said, y'all hear that? Y'all paying attention? I want to read a few questions in the inbox. One of them is, what oil is best over olive oil, avocado or soy?
I use avocado oil. I use coconut butter. If you guys have not used coconut butter,
The
I
regular kind
highly
that you put on your
recommend.
skin,
Hemp is
or
another good one. No, not coconut oil, coconut butter. So it's, imagine cocoa butter or
oh,
shea
coconut,
butter, but
not
coconut.
cocoa butter, but
So you
okay,
just use a little bit.
coconut butter. Hmm.
Yeah, coconut butter. Yeah, so it's raw and it's not processed in any way, and it's very rich. So I use that with a lot of my raw vegan recipes, but absolutely avocado oil, walnut oil is good. I use hemp and the coconut butter. Those
Okay,
are my
thank you for answering
go-tos.
that. And the other question I'm going to actually ask
Hmm.
uh, Beautiflus Beauty Flotus 4. I'm going to ask her about a retreat shortly, so we'll get to that in a minute. Queen of juicing. I know you, so you juice every day. You recently just did a 2-week juice cleanse, and you had people participate with
Hmm.
you. How did that go? Did you have any detox, or did you have any benefits that happened during that juice fast? And can you break down? I think you did a break.
Yeah,
You did
so
like the
the
first week all juice and then the second juice raw. So talk about
mhm.
how that all went. Any detox, any benefits?
Yeah, so the 14-day cleanse starts off with 7 days of juicing, followed by 7 days of raw vegan food, plus continuing the juicing. I created a juice. I did this collaboration with my health bae who creates juice cleanses. Sometimes I just don't want to, juice on my own, especially if I'm traveling. So she's kind of the only person that I know that can
Mm-hmm.
provide organic juices. It's kind of hard to come by these organic juices. But the first 7 days of juicing, we created a group, a Facebook group. We had over 180 participants,
Wow,
and the
that's
14-day
good.
cleanse. So what we do is, yeah, so we provide the recipes for, different juices, provide all of the health benefits and let you know, okay, these are the types of juices that you can use if you're looking to flush out heavy metals, or if you're looking to flush out toxins, or if you're looking to get rid of belly fat, or if you're looking for like a
Mm-hmm.
cleanse of your colon. So we post, different recipes, and then we encourage people to post in the group their juices that they're making and their progress, how they're feeling. So it's basically a support group where you can also engage with other people and not feel like you're alone. So even if people, like, I'm not going to lie, like I struggled, during this cleanse because my grandmother passed away the
Oh my
Thursday before
goodness.
the
I
cleanse
remember
started,
you did a
and I
live
had to
about that, and I'm
travel.
sending my
Um,
condolences to you again.
thank you. Yeah, but I was traveling, just trying to get, everything done. But I will say that that group, during that time and having that support is very reflective of how a lot of people kind of struggle on their journey because they don't have the support, whether they're in a house with people who are heavy meat eaters and they're kind of, tempting them, or just not looking out for their best interest. So the group is to support in that aspect. So the first 7 days is what I tell everyone. This is the same thing with my coaching. If you can get through 7 days of juicing, then when you get to the raw vegan portion, you are going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to enjoy it. You're not going to be thinking
Yeah,
about, anything that you're missing out on, because you have gotten
right.
through the most difficult part, which is, starving the flesh
Mm-hmm.
of, these fibers and proteins. So, and then it just makes it to where we get to the raw vegan portion where, everyone, they're getting to buy plants, they're buying just fruits and vegetables. And it's like,
Yeah.
we're going to show you what to do with it. So my oldest daughter, one thing she always says when she's looks in the refrigerator, she's like, all we have are ingredients, we don't have any food. I'm like, well, there you go, get in there and make something. So I kind of conduct the raw week the same way that I conduct,
Mm-hmm.
my cooking classes. I give a variety of ingredients, and then I say, this is what I do, but I want
Yeah.
you guys to get creative, go up there,
Yeah.
grab some stuff and create. So I had an in-person cooking class at the retreat. So the 2 weeks, the last 4 days of the 14-day cleanse was actually
Okay.
at the retreat. So we finished at the retreat eating nothing but
That
raw
sounds
vegan food and
amazing.
juices. And then the last day we celebrated with a cooked meal. Yeah, so we
And
celebrated
how
with a
did
cooked meal the
your
last
body
day.
react to that?
So
The cooked
we did
meal.
meditation.
Was it okay?
Um,
Yeah.
it was heavy. I'm not even gonna lie. It felt good eating it, but a lot of, we all had the same reaction. Like after eating raw and then having that cooked meal, it was like, man, this was good, but I'm going to
Yeah.
still continue eating raw just because I
Right.
felt amazing. And I didn't realize it was so easy to,
Right.
cook raw meals. So, that's the point of it, showing you that it's easy,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just feel lighter,
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
spiritually, but physically as well. And then you have the clarity of your mind because you're not consumed with the thought of food all the time. You're just eating. You get hungry, raw vegan, you grab an apple, you grab a peach, you go and drink a juice.
Mm-hmm.
You're not really thinking about the sugar cravings. You're not thinking about the cravings of fried foods or oils, because you have purged your body of all of these things. These cravings come from deficiencies. These cravings come from
Yeah.
addictions that we have to certain foods. So when you take those 14 days to cleanse your gut, to cleanse your body, and you give it a reset, you're instantly, you're making space for just better decision
Exactly.
making as a
That's
whole.
awesome. It sounds so refreshing coming out that 2 week cleanse and then going to the retreat. It just sounds like it was this amazing experience. Um,
Yeah.
G Wa Ton Ton. I know I just messed that up. I apologize, but they said, from your perspective, how has committing to your health contributed to your wealth? How has,
How has what?
let me
How
read that again.
has my
How has committing to your health contributed to your wealth?
I will say that whenever you have a higher level of consciousness and awareness, whether this is what, what you're eating, it all goes along with your spirituality. And the closer you are to God, the easier it is for you to manifest things. Um, Ever since I have made that decision and doing whatever I need to do in order to contribute to my spirituality. For me, it just so happened to be changing my diet and purging my life of things that no longer serve me, and then making sure that I was meditating and getting closer to God. I've been able to manifest anything it is that I've ever wanted, anything that I've ever needed. I've never had to worry about it. When I say manifest, I don't mean sitting here wishing for it. I mean anything that I need, whether I'm thinking about it or not, me receiving it and me being able to accept those blessings that are coming to me. Um, what I will say is that when it comes to the health aspect and when it comes to your diet, when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to your mental health, whenever it comes to your emotional health, you having control over all of those things, that is
Yeah.
abundance, that is wealth. So wealth is not always something
Mm-hmm.
tangible. Your happiness
Mm-hmm.
is wealth, your peace is wealth. All of those things have been contributions just from me, taking advantage and, taking a grasp on, what I was contributing to myself. I always tell everybody the greatest gift that I've ever given to myself was happiness. The greatest gift that I've ever given to myself was peace. That's nothing that I seek from other people. That's nothing that I seek from food. And that's also something that cannot be taken
Well
away from me.
said. I heard that. That was a beautiful answer. Because well, it's not just tangible. It's not just about money. It's about
It's
your,
not.
like they say,
It's
your
not.
health.
It's not.
Right.
Money's not even real.
Like they say, your health is your wealth. Right. Um.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
how often do you have these retreats? Yeah. How often do you have the retreats?
So now that I have departed or am departing from my corporate job, I will be having a
Oh,
retreat at least once
okay.
every other month. So there will be four that'll be domestic in the US, and then there will be 2 to 3 that will be international. So this year, the ones that are international will be Bali, which is June the 25th through the 30th, Tulum, which is July the 19th through the 24th, and then
Wow.
Costa Rica, which will be in
That's
November. And then the domestic ones will be the one in Georgia that just passed, and then there'll also be one in Texas, one in New York, one in DC, and also one in California
wow.
in Mount
So are
Shasta.
you like coordinating all of this on your own? Are you finding places to have these retreats and just getting everything, all the logistics together yourself?
Yeah, so I like I said, I there's so much alignment in my life. And a lot of these places find me, meaning I could just think in my head, oh, I want to, have a retreat, and then I'll just, you know, something will pop up like on my IG, like
Hmm.
Mother Earth Vegan Hotel, the one that's in Costa Rica. That one just popped up, and I sat on the phone with Mother Earth, the one who owns it. I sat on the phone
Oh,
with her for
wow.
like 2 hours just talking, and it was supposed to be just a 15-minute call. We talked on the phone for 2 hours. The next week, I just got on a flight and just went out there to see her because I'm just
Oh,
like, I
nice.
have to meet you. But this is how, everything happens. Everything is within alignment. And whenever I feel something, whenever I feel, that inkling to, host a retreat or a place, or even if someone is asking me, I just make it happen. I make a list,
Hmm.
I write it down, and then it just it just works out.
Manifests.
I know how. I know how it works,
You
but it all
manifesting,
just
girl.
works out. So I plan right. I plan everything. I do have an amazing assistant, Kimberly Reed, with Administratively Yours, and she does help me a lot with all of the logistics and the planning. And when I say she is amazing, like she works magic. All I have to do is tell her what I want, where I
That's
want
what's
it, and
up.
she gets it done. But yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
do
good.
have a team. I do have help. Um, yeah, and it took me a while to get to that place because, I haven't always been one of those people that's, willing to ask for help, but I just know that what I'm trying to do and the people that I'm trying to reach on this journey, that it's
That's
important to make sure that I'm being
good.
open.
That's good. Um, so you have a retreat coming up in a few weeks in Bali. That's exciting.
All right, and yeah, I'm really excited about that one. I think we only have 3 spots
Oh, I was
left
going to ask you about that.
for that retreat. Yeah, we have 3 spots left for that retreat. Here to Hill will be there hosting some workshops. So one thing that I like to do is always have special guests to come out and teach, different workshops, different things that people
Hmm.
can include on their journey. And Here to Hill will be out there that does holistic massages, tantric coaching, and just everything along that wellness path as well. So I look forward to that very much so. Um, but yeah, there's 3 spots left for that one, and then we are reserving the entire
Hmm.
retreat center. So we're not
Oh,
sharing it with
that's
anyone.
nice.
I reserve the whole thing so I can make sure that it's very intimate and that our group will be able to have the enjoyment, and anyone that they run into is going to be a
Yeah,
part of our group. So we'll be
that's
very close
wonderful.
at the
You got
end.
y'all hear that? She got 3 spots left. Y'all down to go to Bali? It sounds like it's going to be an amazing retreat. Fairy Fabnet
Yeah.
asks, can you do like HIIT, which stands for high intensity interval training while cleansing? I'm going to answer that for
Hmm.
myself. Like for me, I
Yeah.
well, I do what do they call it? Low impact hit, just because I my knees have been messed up since I was 20. So,
Yeah.
a lot of squats and certain things I can't really do. But I do hit. I still work out during when I'm like I've been on raw for 21 days. I don't know what it's like to be juicing, but I know for raw I can still work out. I still lift weights. I still do my dancing workouts. I still do my low impact hit, which is still interval training without all the jumping. Um, and banging on my knees. But for you, like when you're juicing, well, first, do you work out outside of juicing? Do you work out? And if you do, when you're juicing, are you still able to work out?
So I don't do
Hmm.
weights or anything. I definitely go hiking and rock
Hmm.
climbing, and I do yoga. Um, but with juicing and doing a juice cleanse, I do not recommend working out because you're wanting to give your body a chance to relax and calm down and actually go through the cleanse. But when you get into that raw diet, absolutely, you want to sweat out those toxins. You want to make sure that you're, aiding your body in, pushing things through in order to release. What I tell everybody is that when you're doing a cleanse or a detox, that the toxins will come out of every hole in your body. So you just have to make sure you just have to make sure that you're just prepared because it does come out of your pores. That's why it's important to make sure that you're sweating, and also make sure that you're replenishing that sweat whenever you're drinking things like coconut water or spring water and
Well
things like
said.
that.
Thank you. I was watching a video of yours. Just the last thing I'm going to bring up. And it mentioned something about opening a restaurant in DC.
Yes. So that's actually why I'm in DC right now. And during COVID, I was going to open a restaurant, a
Hmm.
vegan restaurant in DC. Um, and about the restaurant was pretty much about to open. And when I tell you that when spirit tells me something, I surrender to it. I don't try to fight it. It didn't feel right, and there were a couple of things going on with the owners of the building. and I decided not to do it. So I ended up, moving back
Mhm.
to Atlanta, which is home, because Spirit told me to do it. And then whenever I moved back home, I was like, all of the equipment, everything that I bought, I'm just going to put it in storage and I'm going to open up a restaurant in Atlanta. And then after moving to Atlanta, I
Mhm.
live in the mountains. So after moving to Atlanta and just like experiencing like the calmness and slowing down and, having that peace again and just feeling at home, I started thinking about the restaurant again, but I was thinking about it in a different way because I enjoyed being able to slow down. I enjoyed being able to have that clarity. I enjoyed being able to have space just for
Yeah.
my own thoughts, for my own creativity, and not feeling like I'm at the demand of people. And also, my calling has always been to help people. So, with the restaurant, I put all of the stuff in storage. I was going to have it shipped, and it's just been sitting there. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I can be honest with myself in saying that I don't want the responsibility of a restaurant because it is a
Yeah.
very huge responsibility. So I'm actually up here clearing out the storage and
Oh, that's
selling everything and blessing
wonderful.
people with some
That
commercial
is so
restaurant
nice.
equipment.
And that's
So
good that you listen. You
yeah,
know, when you feel something in your spirit, you got to follow it. If you don't have peace about something, don't do it, or else you're going to not have peace in the midst of that, whatever,
yeah,
I learned a long time ago. Remember I told you, I don't know if you remember,
yeah,
I moved across the state for some Negro, and a couple of days before I moved, I felt in my spirit, God was saying, don't go. And I went anyway. And guess what? I had the most non-peaceful 35 days out there in my life. And I was depressed because I knew I wasn't supposed
yeah.
to go. So whenever you feel something in your spirit that says no, don't do it. Surrender to it. Y'all
Surrender,
listen,
surrender.
take heed from me. Learn from me. No. But so thank you so much. Felicia, I really enjoyed speaking to you. Thank you for giving me your time today and talking about all your beautiful, wonderful things you're doing with the juicing and your retreats and just being brave enough to quit your job, to pursue your passion. That's really inspiring. I hope everyone that watched was inspired today. Make sure you go back and watch it from the beginning. If you missed some, make sure you share this with 5 or 10 of your friends because I like to get the message out there. Health is your wealth, y'all. We got to take care of our bodies. We got to take care of
Yes.
our minds, our temples, our spirit. So thank you so much, everybody. I really, really, really appreciate you all watching today. And Felicia, thank you again. And good luck. I don't like to say luck, but good blessings to you just on your everything you're
Yeah.
doing. And yeah.
Yes, thank you
Oh,
so
I
much for
forgot to
having
give a
me.
shout out to my sister. These are her earrings, Accent Ailey, named after her
Cute.
son and daughter. I like to, what do you call it? Represent her earrings every now and then. But you guys make sure you follow my guest at Vegan Taste Good. Check out her bio. She has a lot of great information in her bio. And if you're interested in her retreats, go on and sign up because it sounds like they're amazing opportunities and just like a rejuvenation. You go there feeling all cluttered and you
Yeah.
come out feeling clean and light.
Yes, make sure y'all go follow VTG Retreats. VTG Retreats. That's the retreat page, and you'll be able to get all of the
Yeah, and
information
that's
for upcoming
also in her
retreats on there.
bio. And I'm going to put her handle, when I
Mm-hmm.
post this, I'm going to put her handle in the post so you guys could just click on it and go follow her. So, yeah. And do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but I'm working on
Okay.
it. It's Vegan Tastes Good, but
Okay.
you're not gonna find much on there yet. I have a team and I have someone that is going to be getting my content
Okay.
together for YouTube.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm just going to announce my guest so you can get off. I'm going to announce my guest for tomorrow. So if you want to get off, you feel free. Thank you so much, Felicia.
Okay.
Peace,
Thanks.
love.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So thank you guys. So tomorrow, make sure you join me. This weekend, I'm doing a double. So tomorrow, I'll be interviewing Delilah Rawfit, who is a raw vegan who healed her fibroids. Make sure you guys check this out. If you know someone who has fibroids, share this information with them that I will be interviewing her tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. PST, 4:30 p.m. CST, and 5:30 p.m. EST. She is a raw vegan, and she not only has healed her body from fibroids, but she also maintains a ripped body. So I want to find out, like, how does she maintain her ripped muscles? Okay, so guys, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Thank you guys again for watching today. Follow me, subscribe. I have a YouTube channel. It's in my bio. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.